Do the next chapter of Extra Credit. It is chapter 3 and it is called Worst Case. Abby enjoyed a number of things about school. She loved the noise and energy on her bus every morning, and she always sat with her friend Mariah way in the back with the other sixth graders. She loved hanging out with her friends in the hallways, and she was very proud of the incredible mess inside her locker. On most days, she even liked the food in the cafeteria, and when they served grilled cheese with a half cup of sweet canned pears, she always went back for seconds. She loved afternoon recess, loved art class and music class, and absolutely adored gym class, especially on the days when she got to climb. Really, the only problem Abby had with school was all that schoolwork. She didn't like it, and she never had. She was a decent reader, she was okay at math, and she was plenty smart. It wasn't that she couldn't do the work. She just didn't like doing it. And most of the time, she didn't see the point. For example, how many times was some math teacher going to make her prove that she really did know how to add and subtract and multiply and divide? Enough already. And if she knew how to write a decent sentence with a subject and a verb, and if she always remembered to put a capital letter at the beginning and a punctuation mark at the end, then why did she have to suffer through all those endless writing exercises? It wasn't like she had plans to get a job writing for a newspaper or something. Plus, she knew the names of all 50 states, and she knew where they were on the map, and she also knew the names of all the capital cities, like Helena, Montana. And she knew how to find all 7 continents on a globe, knew the beginning and ending dates of lots of important wars, knew the first sentence of the preamble to the Declaration of Independence by heart, and she could recite almost half of Lincoln's Gettysburg Address. She even knew the names of the 5 countries that are permanent members of the United Nations Security Council. So why did she have to keep on reading and reading those huge, thick social studies books every year? Because Abby didn't like being cooped up in her room or the library, sitting at a desk with her nose in some book or her fingers tapping on a keyboard. She wanted more hands-on experience with rock climbing, wanted to learn more about tying knots and rappelling, wanted to learn about all the technical gear like cams and pulleys, and especially she wanted to be outside. She wanted to be getting her boots muddy in the woods and fields behind her house. She wanted to be sharpening her skill with the bow and arrows she had made. She wanted to be fixing up the shelter she'd started to build in the huge oak tree that had blown over during the storm last summer. Schoolwork, and especially homework, felt like an interruption, something that kept her from doing all the things that she liked best. Even though her parents kept after her, she never really gave her schoolwork much attention or effort. So during the first half of the year, Abby's grades, which had never been great, slid a little lower. In the back of her mind, Abby knew she was getting near some kind of danger point. So when the school guidance counselor sent a note and called her out of gym class one morning in February, she wasn't really that surprised. She'd had a talk with Mrs. Carmody about her schoolwork during 4th grade, and 2 talks during 5th grade. As she walked through the office and into the guidance center, she had a pretty good idea about what to expect. "Hi, Mrs. Carmody, you wanted to see me?" "Yes, Abby, let's sit over at the table." Abby saw that the table had already been set with 2 places, sort of like for a meal. One place with a white business size envelope, and the other with a thick green file folder. Mrs. Carmody took the chair in front of the folder, and as Abby sat, she saw that the white envelope had her name on it. She picked it up and said, "Am I supposed to read this?" Miss Carmody said yes, but let's talk a little bit first. The counselor paused a moment. "Your academic teachers have asked me to tell you and your parents that they think it might be best if you repeat the 6th grade next year. And I've looked over your records, and I think they're right." That's what the letter is about. Now, you could be the one to tell your mom and dad about this, or if you'd like, I can give them a phone call today to let them know the letter is on its way. I've mailed it to them, but I wanted to talk to you so it wouldn't come as a total surprise. So can I answer any questions for you? Abby's mouth was suddenly so dry that her tongue felt as if it had stuck to her teeth. She stared at Mrs. Carmody, and for almost 5 seconds it was like someone had pushed the pause button for the entire universe. She whispered, "I'm going to be left back?" The counselor nodded. "This is what we're recommending. Junior high school is hard enough all by itself without having to catch up on basic academics." "I'm sure you can understand that. We've had some experience with other students, and another year here will really be a big help to you, especially later on." Abby kept staring. "But left back? I can't do that. I mean, I can't do that." "I know it's a lot to take in all at once like this, but just take a deep breath or two and remember that we all want to do all we want and remember that what we want to do here is what's best for you. That's all. Can I get you a drink of water?" Abby shook her head. "Do you want to talk about this?" She shook her head again and said, I don't know what to say about it. It's like you said, a lot to take in." "Well, it is, and I understand that. I really do, but I want you to remember that we want whatever's best for you. So for now, you should probably go on back to class and just think about it, all right? And if you want to talk to me again later today, here's a permission note you can use any time." She slid a slip of paper across the table to Abby. "And let me know if you'd like me to be the one to tell your mom and dad, all right?" Abby took the permission note and put it into the white envelope. As she stood up, Mrs. Carmody said, "Everything's going to work out, Abby. You'll see, so I'll talk to you later." Abby nodded and said okay. She tried to smile a little, but her face wasn't working. She walked to the office and then out the door and along the fourth grade hallway back toward the gym. Several of the fourth grade classroom doors were open and the different sounds spilled out into the air around her. Kids reading aloud, a teacher leading a math class, a video on space exploration. But all Abby could hear was her own voice saying, "I'm going to get left back." When she went into the gym, a furious game of dodgeball was underway, so she walked over to where her friend Mariah was sitting against the wall. Mariah hated dodgeball, and she always got hit on purpose right away. Mariah said, "What was that about?" "Nothing much." Mariah turned and took a good look into her friend's face. "Are you sick or something? You look terrible." "I'm fine," Abby said. But that was a lie. By the end of the school on that Tuesday in February, Abby had bounced back a little. She had read the letter carefully, she had looked at the problem, and she had looked at herself. And then she had made some decisions. And she had also taken a few first steps to try to deal with this new situation. One of her decisions had been to ask Mrs. Carmody not to call her parents. She wanted to break the bad news to them herself. This had seemed like a good idea at about 2:30 in the afternoon, but around 7 o'clock that evening, Abby was wishing she had gotten Mrs. Carmody's phone number. And it's a long chapter, so I'm going to stop here and we'll continue the second part another day.